You all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Episode of the Friendship University podcast. The podcast where we encourage you to be a little bit better every single day, and us getting on this platform and telling all of our business for God knows why, and being transparent and letting you all know that you're not the only ones who are struggling or trying to figure things out, because people are our greatest resource. So we're here. I'm joined again by my co-host, Tara Coble, the world-renowned singer, songwriter, dancer. Actually, I've never said that, but you dance. You've got dance videos on your platform for sure.
I don't know if they're still there, but yes, I
You
do
took
dance
that you took them
classes.
down. I like the dance.
I
I
don't
like
know what's still on
Dance
there. I have
Tara.
to look and see. Yeah, dance Sarah. I have to look and see, but they'll come back. They'll come back.
Okay, well, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all, welcome everyone. If you're new here, if you are just tuning in, we are welcoming you. You will soon realize the flow of this podcast, the flow of this lesson. Tara, how you doing this week?
I am doing good. I am doing my best. I am
Y'all are same.
saying our best, our very, very best.
Very best.
I think every day that you wake up and decide that you are going to move toward the direction of your goals and your dreams, that you're going to show up for yourself, that you're going to try again something that you've been working toward, it's a success. So I can say honestly that I've done all those things today. I was courageous. I faced things that I need to get done, and working toward that for me is a win. So, yeah.
Not you face adversity head on.
Come on. I mean, yeah, you do. You do. You have to face things that scare you, things that make you feel small or afraid, and I think that that's something that I have to do. I wish I was the person that never got scared. Some people are naturally dauntless and naturally fearless. I'm not. I do things. I might be shaking a little bit, but I'm moving toward it. I'm tiptoeing toward it.
Tiptoe towards the finish
I'm moving.
line.
And I think that anytime that I do that, it's a win. I want to be one of those people that just like move and they never get scared and they never feel that little tingle like, I don't know. I wish. I hope one day that I can get to that point. And that's my prayer. But in the meantime, I just pray through it and I just talk myself through it. What about
I
you? What about you?
I'm good. I'm tired. It's been a
Tell the
long
truth.
week already,
I told
and
the
I'm
truth.
just doing the best that I can with what I got.
What
Word
I
to
got.
MC Mariah Carey.
Uh-huh.
Words of
Sometimes you gotta do
wisdom,
that.
because I am still, what do the older people say? I'm on this side of the dirt or this side of the earth. And so that's a good day. Although I feel some kind of way about that because, yes, while I am thankful to yet be alive, I feel like glory is way better. So I'm thankful that I have not experienced premature death. Let's say that. But if I'm 80, 95, let me say that. If I'm 95, 99, 101, even 110, if I'm going into it, I feel like either side is it's going to be good. So I am well, and we are here facing adversities. I wouldn't say that I get scared. I just, it's not necessarily that I get scared because I'm actually really not afraid. I don't want to say anything. I feel like I want to say anything, but maybe not anything. But I just always I procrastinate. That's my biggest. That's my biggest hurdle. I don't care. I'll do it,
but at
and
the
I
root
only
is
procrastinate.
fear.
I only procrastinate in certain. Well, some procrastination is the root of some procrastination is fear. At the root of other procrastination is some people are just disobedient, inherently disobedient. It's
But
disobedience that
why are
lives
you
there
disobedient? Is the
because
question.
I'm no longer disobedient. Let me say that. But in disobedience that I have done before, whether it was generational curses or just me being stubborn and in pride,
Oh, okay, so
then
some procrastinate
yeah, all
pride.
procrastination, not fear. Some of it's pride based, stubbornness, which goes back to pride and all that. So we both
So,
working on what we got to work on, and we
hmm
doing it.
hmm
Uh, you had an eventful weekend, no?
yeah. So, I went to New Jersey to see some family members. My niece and nephew get baptized, so that was like really a cool experience. They're very young, so um, I'm gonna say very young. One is like 7, and the other one is 10. And just to see them do that, we've talked about my niece and nephew on the show, how much I love them, how close I am to
It must
them.
be
So to
me.
see them take that huge step was just beautiful. I couldn't really tear up because I had the camera, so I had to like keep it together.
Oh, were you
But it
taking the
was really,
pictures and stuff?
I was taking video of them, and I got a really great video, so I was excited about that. But I was trying to like, I couldn't be like, I couldn't do that. Had to just keep it together. So yeah. But
Did,
what about you? Did you do anything fun this
I
weekend?
I went to this. I can't remember the official name for it, but it was a like museum crawl. So you know how they have like bar crawls, but it was museums in one like metropolitan area,
Oh,
and
that sounds fun.
you just got to go to all of them for free because they normally are
Oh, nice.
paid. So that was nice. I went, tried to make some new friends, tried to be social. A piece of
Why
why
you say tried?
because I am social. A piece of why I'm in shambles now is because I should have been spending that time doing other things, but that's
Oh,
okay. And I will say I was very social. I was myself, who you already know is a social butterfly. And I just don't think I'll be hanging out with those people like that anymore. It's just not there's nothing wrong with them. Let me preface it by saying there was no kind of like animosity or this
uh-huh.
traumatic or traversive experience that happened. I was like, I don't ever want to see you again. You just know how you just have conversations or you're connecting and it's just not there. And it's not a situation where you're like, oh, maybe I just need to have more conversation with them to see if I know we use the term spark for romantic relationships, but that could be
Mhm.
any kind of relationship you have. There was just
True.
no spark there. There was just like we live on two different planes, and although we have some similar interests, like these museums, I don't feel like there's anything I'm going to be able to like offer you in the same from you to me.
Have you ever met someone and immediately you knew you're like, man, I think we're gonna be friends for a long time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have. And I will say, as someone who is a believer, I feel very led in the close relationships that I have with people. So oftentimes I do know that what would be considered a spark is discernment for me. But yeah, it wasn't nowhere near that dot. It just wasn't there, and that's okay. They're good. They're good people, and they're cool. But yeah, I really just don't see that budding past. I appreciate the invite though, and it was very nice. And maybe on occasion we can hang out, but there's nothing for us to discuss outside of what happened that weekend.
Have you as of late met anyone that you're like, man, I think this person's gonna be like in my life for a while. They were sent for a specific reason. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. In a while,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to constitute what I feel like is a while, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But within the last 5 or so years, yes, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely have met people who I'm like, this person's going to be in my life for a very long time. I've had encounters where I met someone randomly, like out at a grocery store or something. Let's just use that for an example. And we are still like super close
Mm-hmm.
and friends to this day. So I feel like I'm not going to say that I knew off the rip you and I were going to be close. Like it wasn't like a when I met you because we have varying stories on the first time we met. I feel like odd couple here. We have varying stories. I feel like the first time I met you, you were with our other mutual friend, who did you room? No, you'd never room with them, but I roomed with them at one
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
feel like you were with them and our other male mutual friend. And I feel like I met you at like an event on school premises or something.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I feel like I
Okay,
met you
yeah, I feel
at
like, and
like
that
a
was very
game or
much
something.
so. Yes, it was a game. I think it was like a basketball game or something, and
I
it
think
was
it's a
very much
football
so in passing.
in passing. Yeah, and I was like, oh,
Yes,
I like your hair. You like thanks, and then it was like, that's it.
yeah, it was very much so in passing. But I will say, the first time we actually hung out one on one, then it was like oh, okay. I think you were doing my hair. I think that's the very first time we hung out, just us two, not in the group of our
Oh
mutual
yeah, because we hung out
friends.
in the group,
We was
but I
always
was like,
hanging out in the group, and there
yeah,
was kind of like, how sometimes you may have experiences. You know how sometimes you friends with someone and you introduce them, and there's kind of like a ownership kind of thing where
yes,
you don't want. I kind of
yes,
felt that, so I was trying not to overstep. I was like,
yes,
okay, that's their friend,
yes.
whatever, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But
Mm-hmm.
then we just scooped it on up when we got
Scooped it
together
up.
alone, and then that was it.
And that was it. I did her hair, and here we are, 20 years later, guys.
Oh gosh, almost 2 decades. Jeez, where does the time? Where have
Literally.
all the good?
Yeah,
No,
it's like been 18 years we've been like very, very, very good friends.
rock is steady. How about you? I feel like I know some people who you instantly like you met, and it was like, yes, this is it. You're in my life for the long haul, doc.
Oh, other than our mutual friend, that's the third wheel. That's not the third wheel, like, but the third trio in our third person
Oh,
in our
that
trio.
person intrudes themselves into this. But that's a different story for
Like
a different day.
we gonna be a
You
three
know
musketeer.
how you have the shoe horn where you try to lift your shoe. That's what happened. It was like, I'm gonna get it here. We gonna be the three
We
musketeers.
in here. Yeah, yes. She
No.
was not having it. It was
Y'all,
great. It was so funny.
yes. I feel like that you may not be as close with this person as you once were. But I feel like there have been instances, like there was one time in particular where we were at church and it was like a instant connection with you and somebody. You know what I'm talking about?
Male or female?
Female.
I don't know. I knew
You
it
was in
was.
this person's wedding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
that's
I know.
my
I was in a few
yeah.
weddings though. I was in a few
You
weddings.
were
I was in like
you
3 weddings
all
that people were.
almost this close to 27 dresses, girl. The
I
black
was like,
27 dresses. I said she
how
did
many
more weddings
times?
than me.
Girl, how many times? That was the season. Right after college, you ain't making no real money yet. And I mean, everybody wedding. Lord have
Man,
mercy.
everybody want these dresses
That
and
was
all
a
this
sacrifice.
expensive.
Listen, that's
Go ahead and
friendship.
tell them.
Let's talk about it. Because that's
Being in
friendship.
weddings
When you
is a
ask somebody to be in your wedding,
sacrifice. Yes.
that's thousands of dollars. Like, you got to pay for
Hmm.
plane tickets and dresses and shoes and like towards bridal showers and all of that. You know, that really is like, you really got to be down for somebody to do that, to be a part of their wedding. So, I've told people no before. Have you ever told somebody no?
I did. I have told a couple of people no. One person I told no, not just because it is a sacrifice, and you know, I told one person no just off of the fact that I was like, I just cannot afford this right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not want to be a hindrance to what's happening with you. And they totally understood because it was a destination wedding. It
Mm-hmm. That's a
was
lot.
my dress, hair, makeup, all that. And you don't get to forfeit that because this is
Mm-mm. You
this
got to
person's
do it.
day. You got to do it. You can't be like, I don't want to get my makeup done. I'm going to just go all natural. These are my wedding photos. You
Mm-hmm.
will get your face beat. Period. But another person, I was just like, I just honestly, I told her off the rip, I was like, I feel like you need bodies, and I don't feel like we're that close.
I told somebody that basically, like, it was a
Yeah,
childhood friend. I thought she was a great person, but
yeah,
we had not
same.
been close in a
Yeah,
very, very
same.
long time. And I just felt like this is everybody at this wedding. I'm not gonna know. I'm only gonna know you.
I don't
It's
even
just
know a lot about like your life in the past like 5 to 7 years.
anymore.
I don't really know. Yeah, so I was like, I don't feel like that's appropriate. I'm not gonna waste your time and I'm not gonna waste my money
Period. Not gonna waste it.
to be here. So
Okay,
congratulations to you.
as my friend who was in my wedding, and then I'm not with the person that I got married to in the wedding. How do you feel about that? Are you
Not
mad?
how do you
Was
how do
you
you feel
mad
about
when we was not together? Like, you owe me a.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will say that your wedding was one of the like it wasn't as expensive as some weddings that I've been in. Like
Mm,
some weddings that I've been in, it's like you tripping. You picked very beautiful yet reasonably priced bridal gowns, very reasonably priced shoes, our hair and makeup. Like you, I think you even gave us gifts. It was certain things like so you really made it an effort to you
I
also
didn't pick
didn't
y'all
put us.
shoes. I just said
You didn't pick
wear
our
metallic.
shoes. Oh, you
Mm-mm.
said you told us whoever. Yes, you gave us the option, and then we were able to send you a photo. So we were able to find like
Whatever you want.
lesser versions. Right, we were able to find like lesser versions in price essentially. And I
I would
don't
wear
feel
something
a
you
kind of
already
way
have.
about you not being with this person anymore. That couple of whatever I spent versus your piece and what you deserve, I would throw that away again. Like I would never be like, I cannot believe that
That's
she didn't stay with after I spent all this money. Like, no, girl, get your bags and get to stepping if it's not working for real. Like stomp the yard. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like for real. Crump it on out. Ain't nobody got time for you to be staying somewhere where you are in a situation that is just not right. And I
Yeah.
say I'm using the term not right because I don't know if we'll ever get to that on this podcast, but
Mhm.
the situation was way more than just not right.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know how I feel about that sack of rocks. I can say it because I ain't the
Okay.
one that got to walk in that forgiveness. But
You
you,
do.
I've been forgiveness. That don't mean I can't speak facts. Potato
Anywho,
sack.
next.
Anyway, so yes, I don't feel no kind of way. It was still a good time. We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that when I get married, I'm able to like my dream, and I feel like this could be true for a lot of people. My dream would be able to pay for as much as possible for the people who
Mm-hmm.
take part in my day. I know that that's often not possible, so but I pray that God makes that.
You think? Do you think you will have a lot of bridesmaids, or like I feel like the older we get, the
No,
less a bridesmaids I
yeah,
want. Like
which
I'm
I'm
like,
okay with.
yeah.
I honestly feel like I probably will end up having a destination wedding, which will
Mm-hmm.
all also cut my guest list down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I don't feel like I'm gonna have a lot of bridesmaids at all. Not as many as I've seen because I think you had what like nine, eight, eight or
Mm-hmm.
nine. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost close to 10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've been in some weddings where it's like 10. I've been yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll have that many. I do have. I feel like obviously my siblings are going to be a part of it. I'm going to try to figure out how to maneuver to make everybody how they play their role,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. Have you ever? Okay, now that we talk about this, because I've also experienced this. Have you ever been in a situation where you've only been married once, so I can't say this situation, but did somebody expect to be on your bridesmaids
Woo!
list, and they didn't make it?
Yes, that's true. Mm. I was gonna say it. I was gonna say it, then I wasn't gonna say it, and then you picked it up. And yes, unfortunately, they thought they should have been, and
hmm
I just, first of all, I wasn't didn't feel comfortable asking them because when I got engaged, they weren't happy. They were visibly they
That's a
were
conversation
visibly
right
not
there.
supportive. They were visibly not supportive. So I just felt like I was
Mm-mm.
doing them a
You think I'm gonna
favor.
invite you to my day? I'm dedicating my life before all my friends, family, and God to this person, and you ain't even happy for me, and you think I'm gonna have you in my wedding party?
Yeah. So
Absolutely not.
whatever reason they weren't supportive, I respected that because you could, because they were very kind of around our relationship. So for whatever reason, I didn't know what the reason was. So for whatever reason, I respected that because you can have whatever reason you want.
Right.
But I was like, if you are visibly not supportive, why would I think you would want to be in a wedding and pay money and do all this stuff
hmm
to be in the wedding? So I just felt like, and I had known this person as long as I knew everybody else in the wedding. Everybody else in the wedding I had known much longer than this person. So although we had a closeness, I just felt like, also financially, it was going to be, I felt like it was going to be burdensome to them. But for whatever reason, I think they felt like I was not being a good friend. I don't really know. But I was very shocked that they wanted to be. Because I often was like, girl, you ain't gotta have me in my wedding. Unless it was like you or my one of my other really, like I'm top two. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody else, girl, I ain't got to be there. I'll just be
Top
the main.
two, not number.
you know, I'm just saying, like, I personally would rather not. Just invite me,
Invite
But I
me. Let
didn't.
me just partake.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let me write that. I think the older we get, the more we. But I think when you're, people have expectations, and I was very sad at the fact that I felt like it forever affected our relationship.
It was a
But
forever thing. It like changed
yeah,
the trajectory.
maybe it had to happen then so you could see that now.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that
that's what I was
they
gonna
wouldn't
say.
go into the next phase of your life.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say because I feel like real friendship would have been like, girl, I'm your friend. Like, I ain't got to be in your. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point in my life, as an adult, I wouldn't expect, even if I was super close to somebody, I wouldn't expect to be in your wedding. Like, unless you want me in your wedding, I don't have no expectation. Like, no, even if we see each other every day, like,
I
I don't
think
have to be
it's
in your
a,
wedding.
yeah, I think it's a, I mean, yeah, there are those people who is like, oh, it could be disappointing if they don't include you in certain things because you anticipated it. But at the end of the day, for me, it's your day. And I don't think people understand, like, you get to choose the
Right?
mapping of that. And I'm just
Right.
here in support.
To
So
support
as
you.
long as I can just be a
Yeah.
part of it in whatever way,
In whatever
you
way you
know,
want.
that's just my role, and I'm gonna play with. Because I'm a big proponent for letting people have their day. It's your
Yeah.
day, you do it. I'm just here, whatever I can do. I'm make sure I am less than a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here. What can I do to help? But yeah, maybe that just had to happen. I totally get that. I had someone. This could be the last thing I said about this because I didn't realize we had so many wedding stories. I had someone who asked me to do the photography for their wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and we had not been as close, nor did I have a really good. It wasn't the fact that I didn't have a relationship with their significant other at all. The relationship was not good. It wasn't good
Mm-hmm.
encounters. And so I already had felt like, I don't really rock with them. Then you want me here. Then you ask me to do this. And because I'm your friend, you lowballing it. That ain't going to work. And that changed. That also was a situation where the trajectory of our friendship changed. And maybe I just need to see that then so that they didn't go into the next phase wherever I was going into my life at that
Oh,
next point.
okay. Okay. How do you feel? So this brings up a question. How do you feel like if would you be offended if you're a friend knows you do a certain business, but they don't support your business, they go to a competitor? Without without
Yikes!
without giving you the opportunity to like even like talk about a number that's more fitting, yada yada yada.
I feel like you
Because
pulling. I feel like you pulling shots like Kindred. Wop 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 wop.
no, because I have a story where as a friend at the time of a close friend, like it's in the makeup world, they didn't ask me to be their artist. And I felt some type of way about that
I
because
can see that. They didn't even come to
I'm like,
you and get quotes. They didn't figure anything out. They just never considered you at all.
I felt like I wasn't considered. But I bit my tongue and I didn't say nothing and I just supported them in the way that they asked me to support them as a guest.
I'm gonna ask something real messy. I'm gonna
Don't
ask
be
something
messy.
real messy because I just need to know before I answer this. How you felt about the outcome of the person that they chose?
How they did their makeup?
Yes. Like, do you feel like? Because I feel like here I'll preface it by saying this: you're a very reasonable woman, and you're business minded, and you are okay to admit when someone is better at something than you.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like they went with this person because they were genuinely better than you? Can you say that you felt like this person was better than you in that field of the way that they did this person's makeup?
Here's what I will say.
No.
No. I will not say they were better because I don't believe they were better.
Okay.
I believe they were different.
Oh,
So in
different.
okay, here's
Were
what
they
I'm
looking
saying.
for different? Was the person looking
Yeah,
for
they were
different?
looking for
So
different.
they were looking for
So
abstract. They're a piece of work. They're a piece of art. There
here's
was
the
an
thing.
abstract piece of art.
And here's the thing. In makeup artistry, it is artistry. So
Yeah.
if I am known to be a soft glam person and
Okay. Maybe they wanted
you want to be like
old
almost
school
like
50s
bold,
Hollywood.
bold. No, you want like super bold, bold, I'm not gonna say like harder makeup. I don't do that. So if you like harder, more, I'm not gonna do that because that's not my style. So
Okay,
that's when I say different. I
that's
think they
fair.
wanted a different type of glam than what I do, which is why they picked what they picked. However, I'm just gonna say they should have went with me in the first place. But that's all I'm gonna say
I mean,
because it just is what
okay, so here's the thing. Okay, there's I have a second part to that then. You can cuz
it is.
you can want different, that's fine.
Yeah, you can want different.
What you're saying is the different didn't work.
What? What? What?
Not what? You're saying the different did not work.
No, it did not. It did not work.
Okay. Okay.
And I had to
All
fix
right.
it.
And you stepped in.
Yes, I did.
See, all right, I got two.
I did. I did step
I have a
in.
few things to say to that. I have a few things to say to
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Because wanting different is okay. I
Mm-hmm.
get that because
Mm-hmm.
you know my shooting style. There are things that I have strategically made a priority to become a master in because that
Yeah.
is my creative style when I shoot.
And you're
Because
referring to
everybody
you're referring to your photography.
for my photography,
Can I
yes.
say she's fire? I know we're not talking about this. She has a lot of different talents, but she's
But you
fire.
know I will do other things.
I'm
But
trying
I
to book my
have a
shoot right
specific
now. I'm trying to book my next shoot right
please,
now.
please don't
How do I come? I gotta come to
cut the
where you are.
feed. Cut the
I
feed.
just,
Somebody cut the mic. Cut the feed.
I'm
um,
sorry. I'm sorry.
um, because that's just my artistry, and I feel like every great person in their field has their signature. You
Mm-hmm.
can do a lot, but you have what you're. If you look for certain films, you know who does what. If you hear certain voices, you know who do.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So if someone was looking for something outside of what I feel like I'm a master at, absolutely I understand. What I will say is I would appreciate if we're close,
Mm-hmm.
like to a point where you know what I'm saying, like you see me build this business up, you know, all of
Mm-hmm.
this, all of
Mm-hmm.
these intricacies, these background things that have happened. I would appreciate you saying like, "Hey, I understand that this is a field you're going into, that you are killing it in," or whatever you want to say. You ain't got to boost my spirit up. You could just say, "I understand this is a field that you're in. I'm looking for something that I feel like is not what you thrive in. You normally do this. I'm not saying that I don't feel like you can do that, but I'm just looking for someone who that is what their signature is because this is what I
Mm-hmm.
want to look." I
Mm-hmm.
want to understand that. And then you go on, yeah, maybe I can help you find someone because I am in this field and I have
Mm-hmm.
connections and perhaps I can find someone who can give you what you're looking for. That's
Mm-hmm.
one part. The second part is don't ask me to touch nothing up after you done pass me up, pass me by, not. Don't spin the block. Don't spin the block on me because you better than me. Because guess who would have been like, I don't got nothing for you, Doc, but a hope and a prayer. I wouldn't have done that. I'm lying, Lord.
But
But I'm saying they would have got a piece of my mind while I was doing it
see
because
here, yeah. And here's the thing, like at the end of the day, I felt like I was glad that I could be there when
that's
the
fair.
other
And that is true
person is
friendship.
not. And even though I felt some type of way initially,
Because you cared about them being their best
their
self for
best,
whatever
their
the event
best.
was, which is, and I hope that they realized that in that moment.
Yeah, we never ever talked about it really, like the whole gamut of it. But I felt like I was happy that I could be there to step in to make sure that nobody even knew that
Mm-hmm.
it went off without a hitch unless somebody told them. You
Yeah,
know,
and that's beautiful. And I think
yeah.
that shows your heart. That shows the kind of person that you are, the character that you possess.
Because
Um,
honestly, yeah, because
cause
honestly,
yeah,
if your friend is like, even if they
I'm
made
not
you
gonna leave you
feel
out to
some type of
dry.
way, I ain't gonna leave you out to dry. If I was really ever your
Never.
friend, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
leave you out
I'm
to
never
dry.
gonna do that. Just like I have a
Yeah,
very strong adherence to, if we're no longer friends or cool, I'm never
I'm
gonna
not
talk bad
telling.
about you. And
Right,
I'm never gonna
right.
tell your business.
I'm never gonna tell your
I'm
business.
never gonna tell what you
I'm
told
never
me in
telling your
the
business.
sanctity. I will never tell that. Because
Yeah,
like that is just not okay.
I think that's
Now
slow down. I
that's
think that's slow
very
down.
low down. It's very low down. It's very telling. It's you've been building this up. It's a situation where you've been waiting. So that's just never been my mo. So I appreciate that. Kudos to you. You know my heart. I probably would have did the same thing, but I would have actually probably brought it up after the fact. I would have let them have their day on the, but I would have been like, that was real bogus. How you still needed moi to help for moi. So it would have just had to been a conversation, because on the flip side of that, I have had more friends feel like they deserved my talents without paying.
Ooh, what we do? What we do? Way. That's something.
Yeah.
They deserved your talents without payment.
This I had
God.
someone tell me, this is what you do, isn't it? And I said, no, this is what I do. And I hung up the phone. What do you mean this is what I do, isn't it?
Let me
You may as well
volunteer
have
it.
had a whip.
No,
Get,
let me volunteer it. Let me volunteer
let
it.
me volunteer. I'm happy. You'll No, I'm happy to help.
Yes.
I will
Yes.
do it. If I have the time, the ability, whatever,
The means. I'm gonna
the
help you.
means, I'm gonna help you. But
I'm gonna
don't
help
you
you.
ever fix yo Krusty the Krab, SpongeBob lips to say this is what you do, isn't it? When I tell you that was one of the most offensive things I've ever heard somebody say to me, that's close, that I figured was close to me. I said, this is what I do, isn't it?
Your friends don't owe you their talent.
Harpo? Who
They
told?
don't.
I don't owe you anything.
Yeah,
Your
they
friends do
don't.
not. If anything, if you're my friend, support me. If you
Hmm.
have the means,
Yeah, yeah. Let me volunteer it though.
let me
If I'm your friend,
volunteer it.
let me volunteer. I literally just did something for a friend of mine, and this is a newer friend, but I wanted to help this person. Like I feel like I have a gift if I can help,
You
and
have many gifts, friend, with an S.
I have some gifts. I have some abilities. We talked about this last episode. The strain and the struggle of my many things that I could do. So anyway, I have some things that I can do. I have a
Mm-hmm.
unique set of skills
Okay, Liam. I will
from you.
find you.
Okay. I have a unique
Hmm.
set of skills. And I wanted to be a blessing to this person because I want to, when you're my friend, I want to see you
Hmm.
succeed. Like I really do. I will use all my little abilities to help you.
Man, yeah.
And depending on a lot of time, I don't want to say a lot of times, but if we really close and I've really found value, like I'm not gonna expect you to pay me. But what I have found is some people just want to be a blessing. They were like, man, she have to do none of that. She she going hard for me. And then I turn around and then I get blessed. And it don't even have to be from them. But I've been seeing that a lot lately, but I
I
do
mean,
things
that's the
from
sowing and
my
reaping,
heart.
though, right? Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
From my heart. And I know what it's like for people to bless me. So I'll be like, man, this is a powerful thing that I can do for them and I'm happy to do it. So yeah, that's a necessary conversation. Your friends don't owe you their gifts. Let them volunteer if that's something that they want. I mean, if that's something that they want to do, but
Hmm.
they don't have to do that.
They don't have to do that. I'm going to put a pin in that, because I would love to have that conversation with you at
Yeah.
some point, because Some people just don't get it. But you're going to get it in this lecture at this university. Um, for those of you who are new here and even our returning members, as you all know, you can anticipate episodes from us every Friday. Friendship Fridays. Yeah, so we are here. We are in a 30-day challenge. If you did not catch the last
Let's
episode,
go.
please go back. We are in a 30-day posting challenge, the FU 30-day challenge, where we are encouraging all creators, all influencers, everyone who feels like they have something to share with the world. And the world could be 2 people, the world could be 7 billion. Don't ever think that your gifting or whatever you have to share is too small for the people that it's meant for. We are challenging you all to post to your social media accounts every single day for 30 days. We started on Monday. We're actually recording this Tuesday. By the time you hear this, we will be in day 5 of that challenge. If you're catching this episode, just hop on. It's never too late. Go ahead, join in. You can see the hashtag FU 30-day challenge. Tag us, let us know so we can shout you out, so we can cheer you on to the finish line. We're just here for every single person. I ain't gonna hold you. We in day 2, and I'm hanging on by a thread. But I'm gonna pick myself up. I'm gonna wind myself back up like the little engine that could, and I'm gonna get back on track. But this weekend, going into this week, and everything, it has been serious business. Your girl has had things to do. Okay? It ain't been easy being cheesy. So out here, but I'm on day 2. I'm holding my end of the bargain. I'm doing what I need to do for the Friendship University. Tara, she's doing what she needs to do for her GGH beauty page. She's also doing what she needs to do.
Actually,
You not?
no,
Did I thought
actually,
I saw?
no, because I have 3 main platforms, but my 2 platforms that I'm really focused
Right.
on for this
Yeah, I was gonna
challenge
say, yeah.
is Terra Global Music,
Oh
which is the
yes.
page, and then Joy Group Firm, which is the content creation page. So, posting consistently on those 2 pages. I will still post on GGH Beauty,
Yeah.
but my 2 that I'm doing for this challenge, just to give myself some grace and not just try to do all 3, is the 30-day challenge where we're posting every day, is the Terra Global Music and the
Yeah.
Joy Group Firm, which is content creation and photography. So, if I can give a couple quick tips to help with the challenge.
Please help the people. I'm taking notes as well. Let me get my pen. Just
Okay,
sit
so the
back.
first thing you want to do is what we call batch content, or content batching, or content stacking. When you record multiple, number one, you need to write down all your ideas. The easiest thing, you might want to write them down in a notebook, or write them down in your notes on your phone, just when it comes to you, because it does come to you. Like, it could be late at night, or it could be early in the morning. You just have a thought, man, I should do, or you're scrolling, you say, hey, I could do that. So a couple of things that you can do to keep track of those ideas. Number one, write them down in a dedicated note or a dedicated notebook. Then you also want to save, you know how you can save reels or save posts. You want to save those posts. It's nice to be able to save them in a specific album where you can go back and look at those to gain and glean ideas from the past that you, of creators you may have liked their content, said, hey, I want to do my own version of this, and then you made this album. You can also screenshot things and make an album on your phone. So I have an album on my phone for GH, for Joy Group Firm, for Terra Global Music. I have albums for each of those where I save specific pieces of content that I feel like will translate well. That can be a screenshot, that could be a video, a screen recording, or that can be stuff that you've already shot, and you're just like, I'm just going to put it in this album just to keep it in one dedicated space. So once you have those ideas, then you can you can content batch, or what we call stacking, where you shoot your ideas at one time.
Mm-hmm.
You take a day and you shoot it all at one time. So, like, if
Mm-hmm.
you're shooting promo, if you're shooting like a BTS, which goes over very well, like that background where you put the words on the top, the font on the top, you're just shooting as you go, all of this stuff like that. You shoot it all in one day, and then you put it in your little album. Then you go ahead and you have a list of, I would suggest you get a list of what we call hooks, or things that you can say that's going to get your clients or your audience's immediate attention. Cute things, things that are going to translate well. You write lists of that, or you just get a list from another creators. A lot of people have free hook lists out there. Like, these are viral hooks. If you want to research it, you can use things like Chat GPT, or you can just look up viral hooks in your niche. Your niche is your specific category. So let's say you're in baking, go to baking, hashtag baking, and look at the hooks on the videos that have gone viral, and then you can steal those people's hooks and make your own videos. So once you content stack, then I would suggest you schedule them. Some people use third party schedulers. They kind of get a bad rep. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it gets up, I'm not hating on it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just save all of their things to their drafts and then put it up, throughout the day. And some people don't want to do that. They don't have time. They just schedule it in the app. So you can use a third party app. You can schedule it in the app, or you can just save it in your drafts. So whatever works for you. If you're one of those people like, hey, I'm busy, like I literally don't have time, then schedule it. Schedule all your reels, and then they'll go up on their own. Schedule all your posts, they'll go up on their own. So I would rather, as a content creator, I would rather have you have the content out than you worry about it getting all these likes because you didn't schedule it. Like, just get it out there, and
Mm-hmm.
then go back in and engage for a few minutes and get back out. So those are some tips. I hope that was helpful.
I believe it was. It was definitely helpful for me. Some of these things I have been doing, and a lot of them will take just a little bit of time out of your day to set yourself up for success. But that's with anything that you're going to do that's worthwhile, that's going to take you to the next level. So Tara's, this is the artist corner for this episode. Our artist corner tips and tricks for this episode. We will have all of that linked in the description box below. So if you want to figure out more, she can't give you all the jewels. But if you would like to do a consultation or anything at the Joy
I'll give you a
Friend
whole
group,
lot, though. I'll give you a whole lot.
she
Like, sharing
does.
is
She
caring.
does. Sharing is caring for sure. And I'm not just saying that as though I haven't experienced it. We have gone through tips for my own social media and just different things like that. So
She's
I
rebellious.
am.
No, she doesn't.
I'm not rebellious. That ain't got nothing to do with rebellion. See how you tell your people one thing and then they
She
hold
don't
it against
listen to
you,
me. No, I'm
and
just
then
joking.
they
I'm just
hold it
joking.
against you for the rest of your
No,
life.
no, I'm just
I
joking.
have changed.
Ooh,
I am
let's call that art
changing.
class.
I'll be
Wouldn't
better
that
than
be so
I
cute?
am.
We should call that art class. Like,
Art class is now is out of session. We just had it. It was
yeah,
in
it's just
session.
get out my
It
class.
just ended. The bell has rung. Move on to your next class.
Okay.
Absolutely. As we're going into the next class, let's hop into what's going on in the world. As
Lord
if
Jesus.
Dum
If you
Dum
love me as
Diddy,
one.
Dum Dum
My God.
Diddy.
It's a mess. This is crazy in these streets.
I believe you saw the video, just as the rest of
Oh,
all 8 billion of us have seen in this world.
it just makes me
I couldn't get through it all. It I make my jokes about Diddy, even though they come from a very real place. I have felt a way about that man for a very long time. Um, there is a there is something that unlocks in you when you hear something and you kind of know there's truth to it, right? Like we knew it had to be some truth for him to like settle the lawsuit, right? We knew like,
Yeah.
okay, there's no way you're P. Diddy. You could take this to court forever if it wasn't true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
100%.
to see it, to actually like be like, no, we don't have no inclination that it's not true at this point. Like maybe there was a small sliver for some people.
Mm-hmm.
My I just yeah, I
So what
feel go ahead.
Okay, so I was the opposite. I watched the video multiple times out of sheer disbelief. Like I could not believe it was like a movie. It was like something out of a movie. Like I literally could not wrap my head around the
This
fact
was
that
an actual person
this
going
was
through this.
this was real and not made up. Like it's like he's in a towel running down the hallway of a hotel, beating her in the middle of the hallway and dragging her down the hallway. I could not believe it was real. Like that really happened in real
I
life. Like I
yeah.
could not believe my eyes. So I kept watching it so I could like be like, this is real. It was just to watch him throw things at her, to watch him like throw her to the ground and stand over her and kick her was just like, I cannot believe that women are going through this. And men, some men are going through this. People are going through this on a daily
Daily
basis.
basis.
Like being beat like a criminal by the person that you are in a relationship with every day. Like I still cannot believe that. And then you have to turn around and look normal. Like everything is okay.
Because they went somewhere like
Like
2 days
a couple of
later,
days later.
right?
Yeah.
It was like some award show or something. And it was like
Yeah.
everything's fine. We're a happy couple, all smiles, all giggles, makeup here, blush there, so nobody sees the bruises, nobody sees the scars. And I'm in complete agreement, like to know that there are people going through this, and we know this, and I appreciate the awareness that happens with
Yeah.
social media and the awareness that happens in
Mm-hmm.
pop culture and movies. But I also think a little bit of that causes some desensitization.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this conversation while we were talking. I was talking with someone about the Drake and Kendrick beef, and people were like, well, why aren't people harping on the allegations against Kendrick? And I was like, the truth of the matter is there's hierarchy to abuse,
Mm-hmm.
and the abuse of women, especially black or colored women or whatever, is very low on the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't really reference that as being like as serious as it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the statistics on DV, and I'm using that because we're going to be going on YouTube, so I don't want to get flagged or anything. But
Mm-hmm.
that abuse is astounding. I implore you all, if you ever have the time, to just Google how many people are actually in DV situations, and how many of those in irreversible circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
saw I love this. There's a lawyer that I like to watch. She breaks down cases and she was just talking about
she on
that.
TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and she was just talking about how he could be charged with kidnapping, because any time that you don't allow a grown adult to leave and you
Mhm.
take their keys and you take their things, that could be kidnapping.
Yeah.
And I just want
Yeah.
people to know that, just be like, let's say the person that you're with is not beating you down, but they're intimidating you and they're not allowing you to leave situations, or they're taking your keys and they're just doing controlling, manipulative, but they're using their body against you, or they're lying on you, or they're trying to, like that's still abuse. Like,
That's
just
abuse.
because, and in some cases it's worse, because I don't want to say worse, but in some cases at least you have a bruise to show, hey, this person hit me. But in
Mhm.
those type of cases, you don't have anything that you could like physically show to submit the support of people and say, hey, I need to get out of the situation. So I'm not saying it's worse, but I'm saying it also is just, can be just as harmful, in some ways. So it's important that we, um, all forms of abuse is not okay, and you need to leave. And I feel like that sometimes the the thoughts of the way abuse happens is almost like gaslighting, that if you leave me, you'll be like just like everybody else in my life, and you never love
Absolutely. There's this
and
victimize.
you
We talked about
it
that. Making yourself the
yeah.
victim.
Yeah, make them the victim. They make themselves a victim, and if you leave me, I'll kill myself. I'll unalive myself. And or you leave me, I'll do whatever, and then you feel trapped. It's like, okay,
What do
they're
I do
hurting me.
without you? You're the only person.
Yeah, you're
I'm
the only person
not
that understands
Jesus.
me, and all this other stuff. And if you leave, I'm not gonna make it. And it's just like, but I'm not making it, and I'm here. So it's like,
Ex- yeah. And I'm going to say this, and whatever backlash, whatever comes with this, love will never be at the sacrifice of yourself in that situation.
hmm,
Love does have sacrifices. Do not get me wrong. But it will never be at the expense of your physical safety, your
yes,
emotional safety, your mental safety, your spiritual safety. It will never be at the expense of any of those things. So if someone is saying this is love, this is care, this is compassion, and we just got to make sacrifices and you have to put yourself, you do not have to go to the crucifix for
yes,
somebody. That is
yeah,
not your job or your
yeah,
position. And so if
yeah.
someone's putting you in that situation, it would behoove you to really take a step back and evaluate what has happened, what has transpired, how the language is, how the interactions are, because 9 times out of 10, there is manipulation and some kind of abuse that is happening, and you need to remove yourself for your own safety. So I'm gonna just
It's
say that.
And it's really hard, to implement those boundaries that you never had
Mm,
within the situation. If you've
mm-hmm,
never had boundaries for bad behavior within a romantic relationship, and then you're in a romantic relationship, and then you're trying to create these boundaries with someone who doesn't care about your boundaries, that is like a recipe for disaster. So I think that people who struggle with boundaries, that's something that they have to work on. And when you
mm-hmm.
meet people that you lay down a boundary, say, yeah, this not gonna work for me, and there's someone that does not respect your boundary, that's a red freaking flag. You need to call them out and say, hey, this is what I said makes me feel safe. If you're not interested in the things that make me feel safe, then I don't think we should be in each other's lives. And we have to learn to walk away from things that are damaging. And we cannot be so desperate for love in any, or what we feel is love or attention in any form, that we take bad behavior from people. We gotta love ourselves enough to say, no, that's not good enough. This pseudo love that you're trying to give me, that is painful to me, and that hurts me, and that leaves me feeling embarrassed and broken and shamed,
Mm-hmm.
not acceptable. And
It's
no,
not.
I'm not gonna take that. I don't care how old I am or how many kids I got and how the red pill community tells me that I'll never. I better just take any kind of treatment because whatever they're saying right now for the time being. You do not have to take this bad behavior from people. You can say no and walk away. Now, if
I,
they say no and walk away, and they come back and they say, you know what, I was wrong. I will fix that immediately, and they fix it, and you decide you don't have to, but you decide to give them a chance. That's an
because they
opportunity.
shouldn't be fixing it for you anyway. Let's
Yes,
start
but
there. They should
sometimes
be
we do
fixing it for
learn.
themselves.
Yes, but sometimes we do learn. I'm not saying come back from no hint. I'm saying something that's maybe I made an honest mistake. We are raised different,
Hmm.
but know this. This is who I am. You need to go. You need to go.
It goes into boundary setting, though, as you said, but that is twofold. It's you setting it and standing on it, because people
Maintaining it.
who are anyone who is a habitual line stepper will keep pushing that
Keep.
line if you let them. So if
That
you
is so
set a
true.
boundary and say this is not okay, and then you let them scapegoat by that, they're gonna try to
You
say
it
somebody who shenan once gonna shenan again.
Yes,
For real.
and you are creating that. You're
You
creating that
create this atmosphere of
monster.
teaching people how to treat you. And
Yes.
so if you say, well, that's okay. Oh, well, this is okay. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to love you anyhow. Oh, I'm going to
Yep.
stand by you anyhow.
Yep.
Kick that Bonnie and Clyde mentality to the curb. I
Out.
don't understand where this conceptualization or this romanticization happened with Bonnie and Clyde. They died.
Mm-hmm.
They died at the end. They did all that to get all that money and to live the good life that they wanted to live, and they didn't get to enjoy none of it. They died. They went off of a
Come on.
cliff and died. You want to
Mm.
say, "Oh, I'm gonna die together for what?" Like, no. You need to set the boundary and stand on it. What they
Stand on
said
it.
for this year? Standing on business.
Standing on
Get
business.
yourself some shoes that'll help you to stand on that business, because if they try to cross it once and you let them, they will cross it again, and they will
100%.
continuously keep crossing it
They
until
will.
you've said that you enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And here's the thing. I don't know if you remember, but when I was growing up, there was a book called "If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, He'll Ask for
It's
a
a
Glass of
glass of
Milk."
milk.
And and
Hmm.
and and if you read the book, it's about you giving that mouse that cookie that you should have never gave him anyway. It ends up um, taking you through all these changes, and now he's messed up all this stuff, and you let him in, he's ruined your house, and at the end you finally clean up, and he's tired, and he was like, I'm hungry, can I have a
Glass.
cookie?
Yeah, I
And it's
think,
just the cycle starts all over again. It's just like, no, you have got to build the strength within yourself
and it's gonna
to
take
say
strength.
I don't care how much I want love right now, or attention, or closeness. I am not willing to sacrifice my health, wholeness, mental wellness, peace, love for myself to get what you are offering, which is a shoddy deal. It's a bad deal. It's a
People,
bad deal.
it's a bad deal, and it's not the price you have to pay for what you want. Don't tell yourself this is
You
just
don't
what I
have
have
to
to
do that.
do. That's
Hmm.
not, in reality, it is masquerading itself as what you desire, but it's not truly what you desire. If you're
Yeah.
desiring love or affection or companionship or these different things, and you're in these situations where it is detrimental to you
Hmm.
on a certain level, it's not just the price you have to pay to get that.
You
That's
don't
not
have
the
to.
way that works.
Yeah.
So just
And
really, just think more highly of yourself, and I don't want to say like it's just easy to do that.
it's not. Sometimes it's not, especially
Yeah.
when and when you've had a childhood that you might have lacked and went without, or you've had certain behaviors that because they were so familiar to you, you thought it was normal. And then you're like, wait, it's not normal for someone to go weeks without speaking to me and I just be okay with it. Like,
Right.
or give me the silent treatment or push me around. Or, it's not normal. That's not normal. So you have to really just take a step back and realize that that is in a romantic relationship. That's not the only place you can get love.
Yeah.
I just want to encourage you, like if you find good friends and surround yourself with good friends, you can receive love from friends. You can receive love from family members. You can receive love from your community. You can receive love from those that you serve, who you're helping and using your purpose. You can receive love from God, number one, but romantic relationships aren't the only place you can receive love. So I would encourage you to,
Mm-hmm.
as you develop your boundaries, maybe you're not ready. You can own the fact that you like, I ain't got enough boundaries. I'm not well enough to be in a romantic relationship. I haven't developed myself enough. I'm not whole enough from my last relationship. That's not the only place you can get love. You can get love from all these different places. Being in your purpose, like your relationship with God, number one, your
Mm-hmm.
friends, your family, like nurturing others. It's volunteering with kids, whatever you have to do
It
to
sounds
feel
cliche,
love.
but yeah, it sounds cliche, but when you really get out there and you really like
Yes,
start living for yourself and you just do
yes,
things that bring you joy or bring you
yes,
those kind of satisfactions, it really alters your mind
yes.
into thinking like I don't have to accept just anything.
Anything. Can I say something? Last thing I'm gonna say about this is like, there's a lady, her name is Esther, Dr. Esther, I think it's like Parole or something like that. But she said, we have made romantic relationships, given them the job that whole communities used to do.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And it's
And
just
that's
like,
not fair.
it's not fair and it's not normal. You're making this mate or man or woman take the place of all these different sources of love that you should be receiving. And that's just too much to put on someone. And so when they are not doing and being who they should be, then you just like your life is over. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
No, that is a part of your life. That is not who you are, your complete identity. You have to develop other parts of your life, which we're gonna talk about one day, about dropping all your friends for a relationship. Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Woo!
We're gonna have a conversation about that.
Wee!
It's not
That
healthy.
it's
It's not
not
healthy, and
healthy. And if
stop.
it's a
You need to stop.
pattern, yeah, you gotta stop.
Every time you
Um,
get a girl or a boyfriend, you drop all your friends. Stop doing that. That's
uh,
not healthy for you. Don't do
you
that
can't put that pressure on one person to
on
be
one
everything.
relationship.
Your best friend, your only confidant, your sounding board, the person you sleep next to all the time, your spouse. You cannot.
Too
You
much.
have to have other people because I don't think we understand the true definition of companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Companionship is not just romantic, it can be platonic. It is
Mm-hmm.
a closeness with someone
Mm-hmm.
that you like and trust.
For real.
So that could be showing up in many different sectors in your life. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just have to feel close to the person that you sleep next to every night, hopefully as your wife or your husband.
Get you a dog. I'm
So
just saying.
get
Like
your
a pet.
dog.
Something.
Even cats, a bird, a fish, something. Somebody, when I was in college, I had missed my family. I missed my friends. I got me two fish, Harrison and Ford, and I loved them.
I remember
I loved
that.
them. I remember. Yep. And you know who killed them? Our mutual friend. I had went out of town. And I had trusted her to watch my precious fish who had lived for so long. They had lived
Who
way
killed
past their life
them?
with way past their life expectancy. I'll tell you that off camera.
I
But
forgot.
way past their life expectancy. Harrison and Ford was my friends. I loved them like they was my own. And I came back from vacation and they was gone, gone,
Ooh,
gone,
we.
gone, Lord.
Ooh, we.
Jesus, cannot
She
believe
ain't
it. But
over it. She ain't
I'm
over it.
not, I forgave them, Lord. I have forgiven them. May they walk in the freedom of my forgiveness. But, ooh, I was like, not my fish, Lord. Damn, damn. I felt like Martin. I was like, oh, I can't
Not
believe
good
it.
times.
I can't believe this.
Not good times. Ooh.
Ooh, Florida. I felt like Martin. I felt like all of them. Not my mama bird. Yes, I felt every emotion I could feel. I had felt it
Not
in
my
my
mama
heart. I felt it. I
bird.
was heated. I don't even
I'm crying.
help me, Lord. I ain't had a fish since. I ain't had a fish since. I have not had a fish for a pet since Harrison and Ford. Um, for real. Woo wee. But yes, that's
Not my mama bird.
um
Ooh.
yeah, it
Ooh.
is. It is very
Ooh.
imperative that you start to
Expand.
understand yourself, and that will
Mhm.
help you expand, and that will also help you set boundaries. And it just keep there's a thing, if you haven't noticed, where it takes self-reflection and self-work for you to get to certain places, and you have to be willing to admit in yourself, we ain't sitting up here saying perfect. I have settled for less
We have
because I felt
all. We
like
have
I just
all.
wanted somebody, or I just
Yeah.
desired to be in a relationship, or I desired whatever. And I knew deep down, I think there's something in all of us that tells us when something's not okay,
Yeah.
when it's
But you
just
know
not
what?
right.
You know what? A lot of people will do the sweet, and slowly start to do
That's
is
true. Yeah.
flip the script on you.
A
And
little Dr.
so,
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I done experienced that.
hello,
I done
hello.
experienced that.
So what needs to
I don't
happen
think
is,
Diddy was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, though.
he probably was from the beginning, but you have to, when they start to show that, you cannot chase that old person.
Immediately.
You gotta go. You gotta
Or
go.
the thought, a lot of times, especially as women, we will chase the thought, the potential,
Mhm.
the dream, the
The
grandeur that we
dream. It's
have
really the dream.
imagined in our head of what can be. No, baby, come to reality. Look at
Yes.
what's
This is how
happening
they turn it into
today.
action.
Look
Hmm.
at what's happening today, and that is how that person is going to be. Like,
Yeah.
there's,
That's probably them at their best. Y'all not even,
you not
they're
hearing me. That's them at their best.
this that's them at their best. They're on their best behavior at this point and performance. So if they're acting this way at that point, oh baby, can you imagine when things get, they let it all hang out.
When they
So
let the
you
chopper
gotta be.
rain, and that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention to how people respond, because if I spill some milk and your first instinct is to call me stupid, what's gonna happen if I accidentally do? If I get in a car
Oh,
accident by accident,
right.
or
If I really
I
do something,
really do
possibly.
something that's possibly stupid, because we
Yeah,
all make
like
mistakes.
we all
What
make
happens
mistakes.
if I unexpectedly get scammed?
Hmm.
Are you gonna pin me to a wall? What happens
Hmm.
then?
That's so true.
So you gotta look at people's responses from the get go. It's so important. My heart is still is out with her. I know that
So
I'm
much,
praying
so
that
much.
she has found the solace and the peace and the forgiveness in which she is hoping to walk in. I'm gonna assume that she's doing better because she has moved on. She has a relationship. It seems like the person that she's with is more supportive and helping. There were conversations around the fact that the whole reason she even pursued legal action was because of her significant other and her husband saying, like, I don't know if it's her husband, I'm sorry, I don't know, her fiance, whoever, pushing her into that realm.
They're
So
married. They are
they're
married.
married. Okay,
But
yeah.
I want to say this last thing, and I just want people to um, just tell your friends the truth. When you in
Man,
relationships, we've all done
sound the
we
alarm.
we've covered for these people to like give the impression the relationship may be better than it
People
is.
don't get away with things by themselves. I'm gonna just say that.
You like tell your friends the truth. Like if he acting weird, be like, friend, tell me if this is weird. Or tell me if I'm overreacting. What do you think about this? You know, and tell them the truth. I need an unbiased opinion. Because these people might be acting a whole fool and a half, and you are taking it. And you need
Hmm.
somebody to tell, a friend or a mentor or people that are there in your life to protect your interests, your interests. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not this other person's interest, but to protect and make sure that you become the best version of yourself. You need to tell the truth and allow them to speak into your life and say, yeah, I don't know about that. That is, I think you need to take a step back, or think you need to press pause, or I think you need to,
That goes into
you
that
know,
vulnerability.
and
You,
trust the process. Because the Bible does say, like, there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors. Like, there is something to be said about having people in your corner that's like, that's gonna vet these people. You know, that's really gonna vet these people, and not just because they got money or they got status or whatever. They don't care about none of that. They care about you ultimately and your well-being. So you need to have people in your corner that really care about you. And if you don't have no community, that's a red flag. Cause
you're
you
not
don't
gonna
have no
make it without
community.
community. You're not gonna make it without community.
You are vulnerable. You
You
are
are the number one
vulnerable.
target. But there's a
You
reason
are
when you
number
look
one
at,
target.
you are a number one target because you don't have that
People.
accountability or that circle. One of the main things that they say about abusers, one of the first things that they do is
Yeah.
isolation,
Isolate you. So if
pull
you
you
have a
away from that
thriving
community.
community,
So if you trust that community, you stay embedded with them and you stay close and you don't let that isolation happen. Just really be real with yourself and
yeah.
just, yeah, it's for your good for sure. It's not going to feel good in the moment because what you desire seems like it's being pulled away from you, but we got to look at some sometimes we don't feel like we deserve the whole picture of what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have that whole picture. I if it's not rooted in, idealistic or whatever, if it's like I just want this, you can have that, and it doesn't have to like be half. And going back to what I said before, you don't have to pay a price for it. Not in that sense with your mental health or your physical or whatever. Yeah, stay with that
And
community and be honest.
and I know some people are gonna be like, well, I don't tell people about my relationship. Yeah, I understand that when you married, like when you're like finna get married and stuff, and y'all go to a counselor, that's different. But when you vetting these people, you're meeting these people, no, you need to be telling the truth, and so
And you
that
need
you
to be
can get
telling the truth
real
to your
feedback.
counselor too. You need to be telling the truth to your therapist and your counselor.
Yes,
If
you read.
people are lying, they can't do their job.
Ooh, that's real. That's real. That's real. And if you're afraid of punishment, oh, I can't tell them, they're gonna be mad at me, they're gonna punch me. That's a red flag. That's bad.
Okay.
That's a red flag. They
All
shouldn't
right,
be
Joe
punishing you for the
Jackson.
truth.
I can't just speak up. Now I got to be the like no, that's
Oh, they're not gonna
please.
talk to me. They're gonna yell at me. They're gonna be. You're grown, so nobody should be giving you the silent treatment. Nobody should be yelling at you like you're a child. Like these are all toxic behaviors, and you don't have to take that. So
And if y'all doing it to each other, both of y'all toxic and you need help.
both of y'all toxic, and y'all need to stop.
You need to stop. You need to both seek counsel. You need to both seek some therapy. Maybe
And y'all might
separate.
is what we gotta do. Separate.
Separate. Talk
Talking
about
about me
me,
and you.
you
No,
separate.
seriously.
Yep.
For real, for real. Because if y'all are triggering each other and it's like child, like toxic, this is just gonna get worse and worse and worse. You might just need to.
And let me tell you something. You thought it was cute when you were young. It wasn't cute then.
Oh, it wasn't
But it is
cute.
definitely not cute now when you get into your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. You
Remember,
look a fool. Okay? I'm telling you this with love in my heart. As your host of Friendship University, as your appointed unauthorized professor, you look crazy. Okay? Friendship University don't want you out here looking like that.
for real. And can we talk about things that when you were young, it was certain things that was cute. Like when
That's
you're
what I'm
young,
saying. Yup.
you wanted the cool guy. Like, oh, he don't care. He's swaggy. He cool. Like, he like, do he like me? I don't know. He act like he don't like me. But no, we don't want that no more. No,
I don't
no,
want
we
somebody
want
who
the
can't
guy that
show their
like you and
emotions.
act like he like
Yeah.
you.
I want you to actually be an adult and tell me how you feel. I don't need to be able to, I don't want to have to guess. I don't want you to be so mysterious.
Mysterious. Oh, he
Like,
mysterious.
no,
He don't know
because
how
what's
to
gonna happen
say
when
his feelings.
when he mysterious not around when you need to buy a house, or he mysteriously not around when you about to have that baby, or he
And,
mysteriously not around when you trying to build up a business.
yeah.
Like,
And for the guys, like you like them crazy girls. You know it. You like the girls that
ooh
pour sugar in
wee,
your tank or
she
bust your
a,
window or bust,
but that's,
do
is
your
she in the
tire
sack?
and
It's
she just
real good when we make up. It's real good loving. Okay, all right.
and show up at your house unannounced or just come over or won't leave or won't respect your boundaries or do whatever or trying to get pregnant. Like, stop.
That's the thing. It's cute until she get pregnant, and then you like, I don't want it, and she be like, I'm keeping it. It's cute until you in court.
But you knew she was crazy. She was
It's
showing
cute until
crazy
she calling the
signs.
police on you, telling the police that you got hit. Because let me tell you something. Certain states, it's an automatic somebody gonna get arrested. It's no way around it. If the police get called, and that is, I ain't gonna say majority of the United States, but there are quite a few states in the United States of America where if the police get called for a DV situation, somebody has to go to jail. That is the law. So it's all cute till 911 get called
But
and you in
saying that to say,
handcuffs.
yeah, saying that to say this stuff not cute. When you was younger, you thought it was cute. You grew up in a certain type of way, in a certain type of environment, you thought that stuff was cute. People throwing stuff. Oh, it's okay. No, this stuff is not
Yep.
normal. Breaking stuff, punching walls,
Throwing
all this
temper
stuff.
tantrums.
We grown. No, we not doing that. Walk away and don't look back.
You know why children throw temper tantrums? Because they have not yet gained emotional intelligence. They're not emotionally aware to
Regulated.
understand the feelings that they're going through, and they cannot regulate the emotions that are happening.
Yes.
Therefore, they throw temper tantrums because they do not know how. If an adult is throwing a temper tantrum, it is not cute. It is a sign that they are not emotionally intelligent, and you need to step away. You
Step
know
away.
that thing where it's like bags away. I'm taking the biggest step back.
And if you're doing it,
Step
and if you're
beside
the
it.
person, if you're
Yep.
the listener and you're doing that, you need to back away. You need to admit to yourself and say, you know what? I'm not treating this person right. I am acting out on them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
lashing out on them. I'm making them the source of my pain. I'm using them as an emotional punching bag. And it is just not right. And I'm never going to have the relationship I want creating this type of atmosphere and treating someone like this. They're not going to be able to ever give me what I want treating someone like this. So you need to take a step back and you need to go get help so that you can be a better partner, or even a better friend or whatever the relationship. But you mistreating people, you violating people, you know, bulldozing through people's boundaries, that's not
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah. Yeah. A
that's not
tall tale is lashing out and not respecting people's boundaries. That's a sign that you have unresolved whatever anger or unforgiveness within inside of you. And I'm not saying this as someone who has not gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to deal with whatever is the root cause of you doing this to people that you say you love and care about.
Say you love.
So a shameless plug. Tara has a song about this. You heal yourself. What would happen if it was all for your good and you just healed people? Because she also has a second song, Hurt Ones, Hurt Ones.
Hurt
Hurt
people,
people,
hurt
hurt
people.
people.
Yeah.
Hurt people, hurt
But
people.
we can heal if we heal each other. So if I heal and I go into relationship, I can bring wholeness to them because we're never fully healed, right? We get to a place of healing and wholeness. But when
Yeah.
we have the tools, we go into relationship with another person who's developed tools, we're powerful. But if we go into a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
a weapon, you know, and a weapon of mass, what you call it, and then they bring their weaponry. Oh, it's gonna be a whole war, a
And then what
battle.
happens if we are in war and we already have open wounds?
It's a massacre. It's a bloodbath.
Not only are you creating new wounds, you are puncturing the wounds that are already there. We can go on and on about
On
this.
and on and
Let
on.
me tell you.
Somebody's
Yeah.
bringing their first aid kit into the relationship. They're ready to like just be wholeness, be whole. And if something happens by accident, they're ready to make amends. But somebody else is bringing a bag of weapons, and you got to know what you're dealing
Which is
with.
which? Who is who?
You got to know. And when people start taking out their little tools, and you like that, you just cut me. And you cut me last week. And you cut me the week before that. You need to go. That person is a cutter. That person is dangerous. And you need to make your way to the door, to the nearest exit as soon as possible.
Exit stage left. Making my way downtown. Walking fast.
Walking fast.
So
Homebound.
yeah.
That's
We
all I'm
want
saying.
you all to know your worth.
Know your worth.
That goes for the abused and the abuser. You can be better than the abuse you're giving, and abuse you can be better than the abuse you're receiving. You don't deserve it. Nobody does. And whether that is a trend or a pattern of what you've always experienced, maybe you saw abuse and you became an abuser. Maybe you were the abused and that's what you just thought was the reality of things. It's not. There is a different life out there and you deserve it and you can attain it. It's not impossible and it's not out of reach. Just be honest with yourself and move forward for sure. So yeah, our heart goes out to Cassie. As for Dum Dum Diddy, I can't wait till they throw you under the jail. And I got thoughts about the fact that you going down with gasoline draws on, because I know you a scapegoat for other things. Because there was a multitude of people around you who let this go, bigger and smaller. And there is a bigger ring out there, and I hope they go down too. But until then, it looks like you gonna be walking for cheesecake. Had everybody else out there walking that Brooklyn Bridge for some nasty, let me not say nasty, for some Junior's cheesecake, but all that ridiculousness. Now you gonna be the one trying to figure out how to make it. So yeah, I had a Twitter question, but I think I may save that for next week. I don't know.
Yeah, we can go back.
Let's get into our discussion. So going off the back of a couple of the topics that we've talked about today and the discussions that we had, I feel like it would be befitting for us to kind of talk about how to be their supportive friend through their healing journey. Because we've talked a little bit about marriages and marriages ending, and then these kind of like very delicate situations where people are in atmospheres or situations that they don't want to speak on for whatever reason. I want to look at it at three parts, right? What's happening while they're in it, what happens post it, and then what happens if it is resurfaced. Like thinking about the Cassie situation where, yeah, she probably had to resurface it going through the lawsuit, but now it's the worldwide resurfacing of this video, right? It's like, gosh, I hope she has a circle of people who are like not letting her slip back into that moment, right? So when someone is in a situation such as a DV or something where it's delicate and there's not a lot of conversation that goes on around it because oftentimes there is a lot of shame. So people don't talk about it. People don't bring it up. You may know as a friend, you may have assumptions. You don't want to bring it up. How do you feel like you would support? How do you want people to show up for you? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
Okay, so which I know we talked about three parts.
The first part where we're in the moment is currently active.
Mm, mm, mm. That's really tough because a lot of time, as you already spoke to, there is shame, and if you can just keep a judgment-free zone, um, they may be willing to tell you.
So is that something, do you feel like if someone has a relationship that has already been pre-built on something like that, they may be more inclined to speak up, or is that something you can build post, you feel like?
You mean the less?
Judgment free, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can just let them know, girl. If ever anything came up, you could tell me anything. Or guy, I got your back. I don't care how bad it is. Even if you just sense them, like just let them know, like I would not judge you. If you ever went through something like that, I would not judge you. I know what it's like, and I got your back, and I'm here for you. You know, and just letting them know that um you're not judging them. Like you won't look at them like they're an idiot or like they're stupid, because I feel like when we're in love, sometimes we do things that we wouldn't normally do. And so, because the thing you feel when you're in a situation like that is you feel dumb. You feel stupid. You feel, how did I let myself get here? I can't tell anybody because they'll they'll just think I'm dumb, or they will never understand. Da, da, da. All those type of lies that you tell yourself, like all the shame that comes along with it, and just letting your friends know that we all have been through things, and it's nothing you can tell me um, that I'm gonna stop loving you, or I'm gonna feel like you can't come back from. And we need each other, and so that's part of that. You're gonna have to spill some of your own tea. You know what I'm saying? Part of that is mutual vulnerability. That we have friendships that it's like we lock down because we got each other skeletons in each other closets. Like we know where the bodies are buried. And so you can't be the faultless friend that ain't got no tea. You're gonna have to tell your stuff too. And so that brings mutual vulnerability where we both are showing up naked in a sense where like um I'm here, you here, and you could tell me, and I could tell you, and we got each other back. We got each other back. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Um, you, my take on it is that you can just set the stage,
Hmm.
but you can't force anyone to come out onto it.
Yes, yes.
So,
Absolutely.
not tired.
Oh no, it's getting late over here, daughter. I didn't drink no tea, no green tea. But yeah, no, you have to just let them know because you can't force them to tell you. Like that's
Yeah.
something that has to come out with trust. But all you can do is let them know, communicate that they can trust you and be trustworthy.
Yeah. Which doesn't happen overnight. That's built,
It does.
right? So I feel like there's not one size fits all to this, right? We know this, and we just are here trying to give whatever tips we can to you all, but you cannot take on the responsibility of pulling someone out of the situation.
Yeah, you
Let's
can.
start there. If you care about people and you don't want them to go through the hardships that they're going through, but you can't pull anyone out of a situation that they don't want to not be in. So you can set that stage for that. I think what I would really like to focus on is posts, right?
Hmm.
So the prayers of the righteous have availed, and they have since left that situation that was just very detrimental to them. Showing up for them in that point on that healing journey, right,
Whew.
can look various ways, I would say,
Vastly different for different.
for different people. I think it's important to ask people how they like you to show up.
Yes.
Um, and really, like, for me, and it could be different for different people, right? Some people like to talk it through, some people want to just move on. I'm more so in the sense of like reminding you of who you are, and let's like keep moving forward in that.
Hmm.
What about you?
Yeah, and I agree. And I would say mistake I've made in the past was waiting for them to tell me. I think
Mm.
those type of
Was it a
situations.
situation where you already kind of figured something was going on? You were just like you were oblivious, and then they told
No,
you.
I knew something was going on, but I was just like waiting for them to tell me what to do because I really didn't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
And I think I could have been more quick to the punch. You know, sometimes you like you can wait and procrastinate. You know, but I think the earlier action, the better, and to just take initiative. Girl, we
Mm-hmm.
going for a ride, or girl, and sometimes you got to get a little pushy and say no, like, we need to spend time together,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people they'll just isolate themselves and all of that type of stuff. You have to drag them out. You have to really try to get them to remember who they are, and sometimes that takes. I'm notorious for being like, okay, girl, I've already asked. I'm okay. I'm not asking them.
Is that
But
because you
sometimes,
don't want to seem pushy, or you don't want to
yeah,
seem
because I,
bothersome?
yeah, I don't want to seem pushy, and I just, I don't want to go beyond what somebody is comfortable with, you know. But on the same token, you know your friends, and if you feel this inclination in you that's like, no, my friend, she's giving symptoms of depression. I really need to get her out the house. Like, no, let's go, get up. And it
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of one of those movies. It was the movie where she meets it was like Zoe Saldana, I think I'm saying her name correctly, but she meets this guy in Italy. They end up falling madly in love. They get married, and he ends
Oh,
up dying
that
of cancer
show. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking about.
on Netflix. And her sister, she's like in the bed for weeks and weeks. And her sister comes in and she's like, all right, enough is enough. And she literally like she's like, you stink, go get in the shower. And she's hugging and she cracks a joke. And she's just like, enough is enough. You mourned enough. You need to get up. And if her sister just let her just continue down that road, who knows? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think sometimes it's okay to just be like, no, like put on another hat and be like, no, my friend, she needs some tough love right now. Get up, like get up, and we gotta go outside, or get up, we've got to go eat and take a walk, or get up, we're gonna work out, or get up. Sometimes your friends need that push.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think it's important to understand that that just moves you into the second part of mourning. Like, that doesn't mean that it's
Yes.
over.
It's
That
not
doesn't mean the
over.
grief is done. You're just
Yeah,
not staying in that shallow place that has kind of like sucked you down
yeah,
and stripped you
yeah,
of all of your willingness to move forward. So it's
yeah,
more so about pulling you up to continue the fight to move forward
yeah,
in this trek towards that healing journey.
yeah.
Um, I think everything that you said for sure, like reminding them, giving them space to like
Yeah,
go through
space.
it. And it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be like you feel like, okay, you've done this enough, now it's time. But I think as someone close to people, you can tell where if I let you go one more day or one more week, if I let this go on for a little too much longer, I may not be able to pull you back. I need
Hmm.
to get you now. I need to wake you up. I need to invigorate you so that we can go forward in this and let you know that you're not in this alone. Um,
And
there,
and and what were you gonna say?
no, go ahead.
And honor that thing in your heart that said, you ain't heard from her. You better check on her.
Yeah, we ignore it because we going back to that feeling
You,
bothersome or feeling
yeah.
worrisome
Or out of
or
sight, out of mind. You're working on what you're working on. But every one of us has been in a moment where, something in us is like we can't put our finger on it, but something in us is like, something ain't right. I better check on that person. I better check on him, or I better talk to
hmm
him. And when you talk to them, you realize this person is on the edge, or they're going through, hell and high water. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
hmm
so I would say, as friends, we need to honor that. We need to. I don't care what you got going. I don't care you and your husband going on a trip. To freaking pick up the phone and call them. You don't know. You don't know how on the edge they could be, and you have that feeling for a reason. You have that. God, I believe God gives those nudges to us to help us to be there for people. And I know people have called me or messaged me or spoken into my life at some of the most terrible times, but they sensed that something was off about me. But if they were so focused on themselves or just careless, I wouldn't have got that touch that I needed to just make it one more day. So I'm saying to us, like, when you have a friend that's going through, just be sensitive. Like, listen to them.
mm,
You
hmm
can tell when a tone has changed. You can tell they're not as they don't have that sparkle in their eye anymore. They don't have that joy that they used to have. And maybe you can't be there physically, but you can be there emotionally, you can be there spiritually, and really pray for them. Really, minister to them through, like, hey friend, I saw this book and it made me think of you, and maybe that's a book that'll help them. Or just being there, planning something for them, going to visit them, showing up for them, um, honoring them, being a confidant. But whatever, whenever you have that feeling like I should check on them, you need to do that.
Don't ignore it.
Don't ignore that.
You
Don't
put the
ignore that.
your thumbs up bubble came up.
Don't ignore that. Honor that.
It comes with trusting your own self though, too.
Mm.
And like knowing that I know this person and I know something was off or that doesn't sound right. This person's not sounding the way that they normally
They're not sounding
sound.
themselves. They're not sounding themselves.
That's so true. I've
And
been
it's
in
so
multiple
hard.
situations. Yeah.
It's so hard to know that your loved one is going through pain, and You feel helpless. You feel helpless, like there's nothing you can do about it. But just you being there, maybe they didn't hear you the first time. Maybe they didn't hear you the fifth time. But maybe that sixth time they actually hear you.
So not giving up.
Not giving up.
I agree with that for sure. I think we have an aversion to being worrisome or nagging,
Hmm. Hmm.
especially when we feel like people are already going through things. I don't want to be another person that's like on their case. But I think a good measure of faith in moving in the right direction is the nagging for their good? Is
Hmm.
it trying to push them away from whatever is their detriment or their downfall? Like, it doesn't necessarily always have to be tough love, more so than a constant reminder that I am here and that
And
somebody
I
cares
love you.
about you and I
And
love
I
you.
love you. I don't think anybody ever gets tired of somebody telling you, I love you.
Right.
I love you. I'm praying for you. I love you. I'm here for you.
We think it sounds
Nobody,
cliche, but it's not. It's
no.
really not. If you really think about it, how many times in a day do you really go throughout the day hearing somebody tell you that they love you?
Woo, friend. You walking. You, you, you are what an offering. Pass it. Her cash app is not.
I ain't dealing with Cash App no more. That's a different story. I ain't got no Cash App. I ain't have it for years, but that was a different story. No, but for
Okay,
real,
that's
like,
for real.
you don't, you ain't hearing that all the time. Even married people ain't hearing that all the
They're
time.
not even hearing that all the time. So people are not gonna get tired of you telling them that you love them. I just keep saying it. And then one day they're gonna be like, such and such love me. I can show up as myself with all
Mm-hmm.
my issues and they
Yeah.
gonna love me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is the key. Just keep showing up in love. Not in control, not in fear. Because when
Not in
we show up in fear, we trying to
control.
control and I'm so
Yeah.
afraid and please. No, you gotta show up in love. No, listen, I love you and I'm here.
I think love shows a multitude of things, but especially to people who are in situations such as DV or those kind of traumatic things
Yeah.
where they feel an embarrassment to not speak about it. It shows that I trust you. Fear says, I'm afraid for you. I just want to pull you out. That
Yes.
brings more anxiety on the
No
person than
anxiety.
anything. It lets them, oh God, now this person's worried about me. Now I really don't want to say nothing. They're
Now I really
already
don't want to tell them. Yeah,
like,
I really don't want to tell them.
but showing up in love means like, hey, I'm here. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to say, whatever you don't want to say.
Whatever. Oh,
I
you
trust you.
you doing your big one tonight. Whatever you want to say, whatever you don't want to say.
You know what I'm like,
Powerful.
for real. Sometimes
That
you
was good.
just, I have sat on the phone in silence.
Yes, with
We
me.
just sit.
With me. Just sitting there hearing drops of my tears hit the floor. And that's what I needed. That's what I needed at the time.
And you just, so it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing where you feel like you aren't anyone's knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
So the savior complex, that weight that you're putting on yourself to be like, I have to pull, this is my, you don't have to do that.
You don't have
Just
to do that.
showing up
But you
as
can walk.
yourself. You can walk.
You
You
can
can
walk.
walk with them. You don't
You
have to
can
roll up on a
companion.
horseback, but you can walk beside them. And I think a lot of times people used to laugh at me when I was younger, because there would be situations and I would be like, I would rather them continue to trust me than to
Mhm.
say something for them to push me away and then I just don't even know what's going on at all.
Right. At all. At all. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say you're not lying or holding back. You're just walking in that love. You're just like, okay, I can't force you to talk to me about this, but I'm going to continue to show you that I'm here and that whatever you need, whenever you need it, I'm going to do my best to get it to you. And then one day you wake up and you're having that conversation and you're able to, but that takes consistency. Another key term we keep talking about. It takes valiant effort. It takes willingness. And it takes you wanting to do that and showing up. And I think there's a reason why people say in their toughest times, that's where true colors show. Because if you are yellow, you're the brightest color, you're the sunshine in the room. When I'm sunshine, we're just reflecting off each other. But then if I become gray and now I'm gray and you gray, we both in darkness. Where the sunshine at? Like, I need your color to be like, all right, you're going through this, but we're still out here.
Yeah.
We still got this like myriad of colors that's happening around you. You don't have to like be in darkness. So, and then I think with especially situations like DV or things like that, I think there's so many layers. A lot of times you think you got through one layer and y'all done moved on, and then something else pop up and it's like, man, I thought I was over this.
I thought I was over this. I thought I was over this. You ain't lying.
And so I think those people who were there in the beginning can show themselves steadfast in that as well. And that's why it's so important to identify them then, because especially grief in itself is an ongoing process. You can like grieve and you can really be over something. That don't mean that you may not cry about it one day past. And so identifying the people who are there for you in that moment is really important, because you need those same people there post. And when I say post, I don't mean 3, 4, 6 weeks. I'm talking about years down the line where you sniff a flower and it's like, dang, I'm crumbled. I don't even know how I got here. I'm just crumbled.
Yeah. That's good. That's so good. We need each other. We need our friends. You are not one of them people that don't need friends. I don't know who this is for. You need you some friends. And nobody's saying you gotta have a lot, but you need some. You need some.
You need a support
And
system.
truthfully, I don't think you should be in a relationship if you ain't got no friends. I think that is a
I
bad
agree.
sign. I think
Man.
until you can be a good friend, you don't need to be in a relationship with nobody. You need to develop yourself as a true friend and learn how to be a confidant, how to not tell people secrets, how to be loyal, how to be trustworthy, how to be a person of integrity, how to cover somebody, how to pray for somebody, how to pray your friends through. How you can't pray your friends through, but you think you finna pray a husband or a spouse or a wife through? No, you not.
You can't pray your friends through because you can't pray yourself through.
Hello. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
you can't reach in the first level.
You can't even be supportive and not jealous. How you think you're gonna be a good spouse?
I'm trying to tell you that
you can't even be happy for your friend if it ain't happening to you.
That first bullet point you hit on with not being able to tell people secrets. When I tell you, there are so many people if I've ever met you, or if I ever meet you, let me tell you a tall tale sign for me to never trust you. If you telling me somebody else's secrets, that
I'm out. Don't tell me, because now I'm out. Oh, wait.
that I ain't got nothing to do with. And it's
Nothing to do with.
unwarranted. You know what I'm saying? If we having a conversation and we're getting close and you're telling me something, even secrets still shouldn't be revealed. But if we're talking about like, oh yeah, like how we have these dialogues, oh yeah, I've had a friend that did this or whatever. But if you just like, oh, I
Naming
just got off the
names.
phone with such and such,
I'm
and
out.
you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to
What?
know.
You don't even know me.
Mm-mm.
I could be a pill in the camp. I could be somebody who's infiltrating, trying to figure out who's the snake. You don't even know. Let's start there. And
Be a
what's the
confidant.
inclination? Be a confidant,
Be a
an
confidant.
actual confidant.
An actual confidant. And the only time you share anything is because somebody in danger. You understand what I'm saying? Like imminent danger. For the purposes of preserving their life. But other than that, you need to be a confidant. You need to be keeping people's stuff close to your chest. And so we not let may that be a lesson.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. And if the sound sounds different, first of all, the devil don't want this conversation to get out. But I rebuke you right now in the name of Jesus. Um, Thank you all for rocking with the sound. I've been using headphones if you can't tell because technical difficulties with my computer and just different things I have been having to record from another device. And so now I'm on AirPods. I hope that the sound is great. Can you hear me, Tara?
You're fine. You're fine. The good thing
Excellent.
about it, we made it through the whole conversation. We are just wrapping up right
We are
now.
good. We're wrapping it up now. So the bottom line is stay consistent, be there for your friends, and show up in love. I want to just touch on this real quick. Don't show up in nosiness or just
That's a word.
wanting to know what's going on, or a piece of you is looking for validation that something couldn't have been what it was supposed to be because of envy or whatever. If you're experiencing that, if you have a I knew it spirit, back away.
Oh, you really on your big one
Take
tonight.
it
You
away.
really on your
Just
big
step
one.
away. Just step. The A. Marie song, got me going in. That you got on the social media, just take a big step back. That ain't your business, Doc. You ain't there for them. You ain't trying to be there for them. And it's okay if you can't be, but don't try to insert yourself into situations. Because I just really have a really big, it's real, people be going through real problems, man.
Real
And
problems.
like, and I'm not saying that some problems are bigger than others. I'm just saying, like, some things are life or death.
Man, that's real.
And
That's real.
we gotta start taking it like that. Like this is life or
Yeah.
death. Like if I can't do all I can to make sure that I'm there to pull you out of this, you know what I'm saying? What am I there for? Why am
Hmm.
I here? Why am I a part of your
Yeah.
life? So step back if that's your spirit. But if you really are like, this is not this person, I know something is going on, I sense it, I have this discernment, I have this inclination. Um, Please move forward in trying to just be there for them. And I'm trying to figure out how to say this last part. There are resources. Yes, there are resources out there. And it's okay to share those resources. And maybe we'll even share a few in our description box below for people that are going through those kind of hardships. Um, but everybody don't need a public service announcement,
Hmm.
especially from their friends and people that they care about. Like,
Hmm.
don't call saying, well, you can go here, quick trips you know what I'm saying? If that is in your heart to say and you feel like that's going to be helpful, then yeah. But like, let it be from the heart, man. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, let it be done in love and let it really be done from the heart where you really are caring about the well-being and the future of this person. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to wrap it up. I lost my train of thought, but it's okay. We'll have more conversations. Final thoughts, Tara Cole.
I would just say be considerate, be a confidant, be communicative. You know, 3 C's: be a confidant, be considerate, and be communicative. You don't know, so speak to them, let them know. When they speak to you, don't tell their business, and all of that. So care for others when they're going
Just
through it.
care.
Care Bears.
Yeah, the Care Bears. Okay, well, I'm going to end with our quote of the day, which I found. You can make it, but it's easier if you don't have to do it alone. Betty Ford. And that is another episode of the Friendship University podcast. You know where to find us. We are the same on every platform. Our handle is Funny Podcast. That's FUNIPODCAST. That is on Twitter. That is on Instagram. That is on TikTok. We are also on YouTube. The Friendship University podcast. You can catch the visuals every Friday. We will drop also Tara's socials down below so you can get in on that content creation magic, so you can know where you're going to get more tips and tricks. We believe in paying people for what they're worth, so you're only going to get a little bit before you have to get behind the paywall here. But anywho, thank you for tuning in to another episode of us, and we hope that it was beneficial to you. Be peacing out. We'll see you next week.